Hi, welcome to the Stockinette Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 152. It's now mid-November.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. Christmas is, if you're the week counting type, very close.
Oh, don't do that.
I know.
I have too much going on in my life, and then my son told me today that he wants a bowling party. I'm like, oh, well, gosh. Well, I'm going to call a bowling alley, and I'm going to see what they have available. And his birthday's around Thanksgiving, so he's like, I figure people are doing other things, so you'll be okay. He was very confident that they would have availability for a bowling party on the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Isn't that funny? When kids start to, be able to legitimize and logic things in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he is very excited to have a party, which he wasn't before, and he was also concerned with copycatting the guy who just had a party at the same place. Mm-hmm. But they all must have had so much fun. He's like, I'll have my party there too, and he must have gotten a lot of support for this decision. And so now we have to figure out if we're going to have one or not.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much it is.
Yep.
I know nothing. But yeah.
Well, he decided, so that was the most important part, right?
Make it so, Mom. Make it so.
Oh, back when you believed such things, right? No matter what I want, they can do it.
But yeah, we've only had birthday parties at our house. So this is
No, you went to the Mall of America, didn't you?
That's true. We did, but that was like small group of friends, and it was okay. And I told Justin that, wow, that was very stressful. Next year we're going to have it in town.
A bowling alley.
Yeah. No, apparently a bowling alley, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which actually I've heard great things about the place. They do a good job. Lucy went to a birthday party there too. She really liked it, but that was before they put in the laser tag.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, enough about that.
It got cold.
Yes.
Here this week, I was watching Diane Suburban Stitcher today over lunch, and she was like, it got down in the low 50s. And I was like, oh, you Texans and your warm weather that you think is cold. But that said, we were complaining, last week and whatnot about how cold it was. And I swear in February, if it were the temperatures that it was last week, we probably would have been walking around in shorts.
Right.
It's all just relativism.
Yeah.
Yep. It went from warm to cool, and so now all of a sudden, woo! But it is fun to see everybody's knitwear. I was just commenting, Ellie had a Girl Scout volunteerism badge thing that we went and did the boxes for. Anyway, little gifts that they send to Mexico or whatever that have toothpaste and soap, but also some toys and whatever. And Santa. Anyway, I was just commenting to somebody that they were like head to toe knitwear. Mm-hmm. It's like hat, big chunky sweater, cool. Boot toppers. Mm-hmm. Like it was just And she wasn't even a knitter.
Right.
It was just like, boy. But it was it was a store-bought sweater, but it was very much like akin to a Gramps. Like you could tell that she just lived in it.
Yeah.
Lived in it. So, yep. The cool weather has definitely made me go, knitwear.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily want it to be this cold. I mean, it is lower than average temperatures, and we'll have a little bit of a warming, hopefully, after this Arctic polar vortex, whatever you want to call it.
Arctic blast.
So,
And you have had a crazy week.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to talk to that at all, but exciting thing. You mentioned it last week, right?
I started a new job, and I have no more bus commute knitting, and I have not knit at all during the hours in which I am away from home. So my portable knitting has been just sitting in the purse looking,
Wow.
forlorn. Yeah. And, that's only relevant to y'all. I think that it's been great just to be that busy and
Mm-hmm.
straight out the gate, ready to go, not feeling like I need to get away and knit over lunch or whatever because I'm excited to get to the next thing and run down this thing and collect that thing, and just getting on board with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even had a chance. I've been so busy trying to focus on what the job at hand is that I haven't even signed up for my new benefits yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I have time, but at the same time, you'd think that that'd be the thing you'd be doing during your first few days at work when you're kind of bored and
Mm-hmm.
things haven't quite ramped up yet. But
They had all your IDs and everything all ready for you? You're
Yes.
not waiting on any of that?
Right, exactly. And I had enough to get going. And basically it was just all of the documentation
Mm-hmm.
type of IDs. There's other things that I still need to get my job done, but all the things that I need to take in and read and whatnot I already had access to.
Mm-hmm.
And also my new company is really into physical fitness, like really into it. It actually surprised me because I'd heard from other people who had gotten jobs at this company that it was like, yeah, they're really into CrossFit and it's totally awesome. And I tried it once, but it's not for me. And other people, just like, no, I don't do it very much anymore. But then once I get there, it's like, no, there's a lot of people who do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people that I had run into hadn't fallen in love with it, but I mean, there's at least 3 people that I'm in the same team with that do it on a very regular basis, like in the 3 to 6 times a week range.
Yeah.
And then there's people who that aren't on my immediate new team, like department, that are on my new work team that's outside of my department that do it. I mean, in a significant way. And so
Giving it a go?
I'm giving it a go.
Cool.
And it's a brand new facility. So everything's like all like shiny and new, and they have a dedicated trainer for it. So chances are you'll be meeting with the same person during classes, although I heard another name mentioned. The one that I went to was a guy, and then there was a lady's name mentioned. So that, although Kelly can be considered either, so I
Mm-hmm.
guess I don't know, but I think it's a girl. And I'm pretty excited.
Sleep well tonight.
Yeah, I probably, yeah. Sore in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I might end up. Yeah, the big thing that they're into is CrossFit. And so if you've never taken a CrossFit class, I always envision people who flip tires over in parking lots because it's all about natural
Yep.
weightlifting type of things.
Make yourself comfortable, Max.
Yeah. Thank you.
One white paw on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. I needed some color, or not color.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Few administratifications. We have a new self-straping sponsor. I really want to keep this for myself, but I should probably knit some of my that I already have. Query Fiber is query.etsy.com, and that's Quaere, lots of vowels in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is her 10 stripe rainbow, and it's got a little pink mini for heels and toes, and yeah, that's going to be fantastic. It's a 10 stripe rainbow that includes a pink that matches the pink in the mini, and a purple, and so pretty. So very pretty. So get your self-striping entries out there to win that possibly this month. And then we also had the Mint Rain, which you'll see in my works in progress, that gave us the yarn to review, is also going to give you a skein of yarn out of her shop. And so that'll be, winner's choice. And she'll ship it. And for our prompt, we want to know your favorite color combos, and that's 2 or more colors.
Cool.
Now he's purring and cleaning his foot. right in my ear. Makes me very happy to clean my foot. And so yeah, go out and check it out. She's got a lot of really pretty colorways. I would say that, it was unbeknownst to me that Ocean's Depths was the exact same colorway, or like very similar colors, not exact same, but very similar colors to my blurred lines.
Oh, the one that you
yeah. So I was thinking about like, oh, what could I use this for? And I thought of doing blurred lines, and then I went and looked at my blurred lines, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, this is green, my chartreuse green, and a teal, and a purple. So then it inspired me to do something else, which is good. But same knitter, same choices. Old habits die hard. History repeats itself. Name your adage here. It's just all about lazing tonight. What would we do without you, Max? It's like you would just be nothing without me. So yeah, that's all the administrati that's to be administrated.
Wow, yay. Right, short and sweet.
Yep. We've got the KAL that we're currently doing. I say I'm weighing in on the extra credit thing. I think that as many of those points that you can hit, go for it.
Okay. So if you are knitting with a yarn and the suggested pattern,
from the birthday kits.
From the birthday kits part of it. So not the silver spun. The other one, because the patterns are made for silver spun, so if you knit them in silver spun, I don't know that that's double points. So
Orange You Happy It's pink.
So if you're making that in either of our
patterns,
you can count that.
And or if you knit both of our patterns.
Right.
So I think the question was phrased as, if I knit one of your patterns with the birthday kit colorway and then I knit the other pattern with a different, a different yarn, do I then get 3 entries? And I would say yes. Yes, you do. And then there's also all of the silver spun pattern book that also qualifies. And we would highly recommend knitting those with silver spun.
Or is it a simple collection or?
Yeah, or silver spun collection, or I can't remember. I have it printed out here because it's in a needle adjacent.
Okay, good. That was one of the things was, I don't know that we linked it.
Feel Good Yarn Company.
It doesn't say the collection on it.
It does not. It just. So I'm going to be knitting the Greensboro. So there's a cowl or mitts, and I am thinking that I'm going to do the mitts as a gift, holiday gift, since that's coming up. And I've got 2 colors, so I need to decide if I'm going to do like a cuff with one, and then the main body, and then the other cuff, or if I'm going to try to stripe it in. But it's a very pretty lace.
Okay. Does it need more than the 50 grams though?
It does not. It just needs, the mitts themselves just need 1 skein, and the cowl needs 2.
Oh, I see.
So
you're doing the mitts though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess I could do them all blue and all white, or I kind of liked them together.
Okay.
Perhaps I do have somebody in my life that would appreciate just some blue mitts, so I suppose I could do that. I was trying to get fast and fancy with the colors. So yes, go check those out. Very, very fun. You also included in that, and not necessarily in the collection, is those connectivity mitts that you already did.
Yes.
So we made administrati longer.
Yeah.
Somehow.
They are working out really nicely for me, those connectivity mitts. I wasn't sure what I wanted to say. I haven't washed them yet, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, I was noticing, I felt the need when I was balling up that yarn to like kind of turn the my Swift by hand, because I didn't want to stretch out the elastic while I was balling it up. It's got some elastic in it. The end one like whipped around and went whoosh, like it was a rubber band, the tail end of it. Do you have any FOs?
Nope.
Nope, no FOs.
On you.
I was avoiding the sleeves that I am now working on my On the Grass, and cast on another project, and then quickly had 4 sleeves instead of 2 to knit, which I thought was kind of funny. My avoidance actually made it worse. But I finished the Graceful Pullover by Elegant Economy Knits, but that is actually Maria Yarley. And it's a super, I love it. I had a few gauge issues. The yarn that I used, which of course I didn't grab the ball band, when I bought it, it said it was a fingering, but then on Ravelry it says it's a sport. So I think it's like a heavy fingering, but I couldn't get stitch gauge. So the pattern calls for 5s. I went down to 3. It was still gonna be like my sized on the 3s with this yarn. And so I actually made the size 2 for my daughter, who is a size 8 or a size 10 in the schematics. And so I have far less stitches than the size normally calls for. I also used the bigger chart for that reason, because I wanted it to take up more of the front of the chest versus the size 2, which would have had less. Would have been a very thin panel up the front. So there's that option. I mean, when you have different sized charts and it's not just a one size fits all, that's really nice. So if your gauge is a little off, you can mess with the charts. This is knit in flat. So if you're looking at it now and going, oh wow, you know, I want to cast on it in the round from the bottom up, it's actually knit flat and worked up to the armholes, and then you cast on stitches provisionally for the sleeves, and then you work up. I modified the neckline such that the raglan goes up a lot higher. I don't know if you can see in the picture. If you go out to the pattern page, you will be able to see it. But it has a very wide neck, and I already have problem with my daughter taking like normal shirts and like doing like the 80s off-shoulder look with them. So I wanted to start off with like a thinner neck, and then if she did that, that was her prerogative. But if it were already doing that, Lord help me. I was telling Amy, I purposely kind of made the sleeves like 3/4 length, not 3, bracelet length on her, because in my psychology, if they started out sort of up the arm, and then when she gets taller and longer armed, they just creep up a little farther, that's acceptable, versus like if they were once full sleeve and then they start creeping up the arm, then it just looks like you're putting your child in clothes that don't fit them anymore. But I was the technique that normally I would change up the pattern and knit it in the round to avoid the seaming. And knitting this flat saved me a lot of purling, because you just end up knitting and slipping on the wrong side. And so I was very pleasantly surprised. First Google YouTube hit was how to seam up garter stitch, and with that very basic knowledge of, you know, the mattress grabbing purl stitches on either side, I'm hard pressed, other than it's a little thinner in between, where that is. So I can show you. I'm kind of super proud of it, because I went outside of my comfort zone and did it, and it turned out, the whole time I was kind of, every time I turned, I was like, if I was just knitting in this around, I wouldn't have to do the seaming work, and it might end up not looking good. It's magical and invisible, and it works. So knit it flat and seam it up the back. As far as the pattern goes, this part is all charted, and the back obviously doesn't have any of the fancy cabling. So if you're looking for a written out pattern, that isn't available. As I mentioned, there's different charts and different places that you're going to end, and so I did a little figuring out on this part, because I need to make it longer because my row gauge was a little shorter. And so I added repeats in the middle here and then ended in a different place than what the pattern called for. So yeah, I did a lot of modifying, especially towards this part up. And when I posted it on Instagram, there was a lot of people that said that they really loved the pattern and were wishing that it wasn't just a child size. And Maria chimed in and said, actually, in February, there's going to be an adult one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if she's going to go up to a sport weight or if she's just going to increase the stitch count. I would advocate for going up a weight.
Yeah, a lot of stitches.
A lot of stitches. So yeah, very cute. My daughter models it in a super cute way, and as I mentioned, she's yeah, exactly. I don't give her direction. She does that all on her own.
It's kind of like when I tell my daughter, I'm going to take a break. Yep. An instant head tilt smile.
Yep. And she probably knows how to make those dimples really shine now as well. Patterns for a good cause. So Free Flower mustache yarns. Stacy actually gifted me this pattern. I'm guessing there was a spree of gifting. And then Maria had contacted us about possibly giving away one of the patterns, right?
Oh, okay.
So we could start a thread for that, and we'll have to come up for a prompt, maybe who you would knit it for.
Yeah.
Super cute though, and I'm eager to possibly
pictures of said person go a long way to making that thread very entertaining.
Yes.
So.
Yep. And then the other FO that I wanted to briefly mention was I have a new sock design that went out with that Pattern Works club, the 12 sock club that I mentioned. And so now I can't remember what yarn this was. I will be able to tell you in the show notes. But it's called Thoroughly Impressed, and it's got a fun stitch cable motif on the top. I was inspired by, I really like cabling, but I don't like all the purling that comes with cabling. And so this was just a fun way to do cabling, but still get, not as dramatic of a boom. Like, I don't know if you guys will be able to see the patterning on it, but they are mirrored socks. So the chain up the sock goes in a different direction on left versus right, and it's got the spacious OMG heel in it. So, and that will come back and be able to be purchased outside of the club sometime next year. I think it's like April. So, but I'm excited about the socks, and I've been getting more into socks. I realized as I was knitting, I kind of had a UGG on that cowl, the Rayers cowl that I posted about in the forums. And as I was knitting it and the sock that I've been working on, I was like, what is my problem with sleeves? These are all tubes. They're all tubes. Like, they're just...
Knitting socks.
Oh,
knitting cowls. Why aren't you knitting sleeves?
They are all tubes. What is my problem? So, yeah. The cowl... The Rayers like cowl. I didn't buy the pattern, so I can't even blame it on the pattern. Has been frogged and is in timeout for me because I couldn't get gauge, and then I didn't like the fabric it was creating, and then I didn't have enough yarn if I did it the density of stitches that I liked, and anyway. Did you cast yours on at all?
Sounds like you should have bought the pattern.
No. Well, the pattern was written for sport weight, and I was trying to do it out of a fingering or a fingering held double, and then I just didn't like it. And that yarn is so precious and special to me. It's like butter. Like, working with it, even the little bit that I got to do was fantastic. The Sophie's Toes Trio MCN, and I just kept on thinking, like, this isn't doing the yarn justice. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So did you just figure out a stitch count to cast on? And
yeah. Okay. So I think I only started twice. So I started once and it was way too big.
Okay, see, I went the other direction. Mine was always too thin. I was like, oh, this isn't going to be big enough.
I see. No, and I think this is bigger than the 8 inches that they were calling for, but this was definitely like the
yeah, hold it up to your neck and be like, that seems good.
Yeah. So
And how many rows are your stripes? 4 rows?
Yeah, there are 4 row, because I was looking online and some people are doing 2, some people are doing 3. I don't know what the pattern is. So I'm like, 4 looks like the similar consistency of the FO pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, I feel bad that, I don't know. If I had deemed to purchase the kit like everybody else, I don't know.
And what size needles are you doing with your fingering?
Yes, thank you. Save me from myself. 4s, I think.
Okay.
With my finger not written on here.
With my fingering held double, I was doing like 8s and 9s, and then with my fingering, I think I was in that range. And it just seemed really floppy to me. I don't know, something about the picture made it look like sturdy and dense for some reason. But
thicker yarn, yeah.
Yep. But even with my fingering held double, it just didn't feel sturdy and dense. I think my gauge was just too loose or something. I don't know. Anyway, I like that. It's very pretty. The 2 yarns that you used thus far.
Yeah, and I think I've already, once you've knit a lot and you want to look at it and do all the things Clara Parks tells you not, or no, Yarn Harlot tells you not to do for speed and efficiency. I had taken the colors out and lined them up in the order that I wanted to do them in, and then so I think what I'm going to do next is pink and gray. So pink and gray, and then it's going to move into pink and something else. I don't know.
I only have 3 colors as well, and the pattern is written for like 7. So.
I have at least 7, but they're not all necessarily enough to get the amount of stripes required. So we'll see if it ends up looking a little wonky, because it's very even structured. It looks like from the pattern. So I don't know that, like, I'm gonna run out of yarn in one sequence. But I'm okay with that. I think that I have made peace with that, and I will not start over if that happens. I will just go on. Now I will have 1 stripe, so if I run out in the middle of a stripe, the whole stripe will be gone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're not that zen with it.
No.
That you just move on.
Definitely not. I'm not going to have a 3-striper in the middle of this.
That's a nice tube that you got there.
Yep. And I'm just kind of using it as meditation, as it were, because if I think about how long this thing has to be before I seam it up, I am going to want to go crazy. No. So I'm just going to keep working on it here and there. It's going to live in its pouch. And
long term, long haul.
Yep. And it was exciting. I mean, I got a lot of that done in one weekend. So it, changing the colors and trying to figure out what kind of jog to use and just kind of playing with it. And I got through a bunch of stripes and went, I think I'm getting close to where I need to switch colors. Yay. So maybe this weekend I will switch colors.
Fun. Any other works in progress? So you were working on
This is the tube sock, and I had a lot of people ask me what pattern it was. This is a formula from Bunnyfish, Heather Laws. So if I have linked it in the comments or on the thread from last show. It will soon be in my projects, but if it's not there yet, by the time you see this, it is in my queue, and it's in the top 3 or 4.
Oh, I'll take care of them.
Okay. So, yeah. And so far, this was measured on my daughter before I came over, before she went to bed, and it got around her heel, but I haven't gotten past the whole heel placement. Like it's got to get up to that ankle before I can call it a success. But it seems to be roomy enough that we're going to make it over the heel. And then I will change the ribbing again so that it's a little bit more frequent and thus stretchier, but also comes in more around the ankle, and keep going, and then I'll cast off.
Mhm.
But so far it seems to be working. This yarn is not the greatest of hand, the Regia, but will wear like iron and hopefully last until the preteen years, because I've made it big enough and it's a tube sock and all those things.
Mhm.
And if I make it a long enough tube, it should last.
Forever and ever, amen.
Well, we hope so.
Yep.
And if it works out great, I have some self-striping and a heavy fingering weight that I want to do for my son, and I will just make another tube.
Cool.
So I'm enjoying, and it's working, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
But
My tube sock did not, but I didn't follow Heather's wonderful pattern, so.
yes, and it is a formula, so it's a lot of like you measure your gauge, then that figure out how many stitches around for your child's foot, and then knit to a certain point based on measurement. Do rib pattern number 1 for a certain amount, and then rib pattern 2 for a certain amount. So it's a formula.
I think when I clicked on the link, she said that there will be a pay-for pattern where you won't have to do the math.
Oh, okay. Well, excellent.
So, yeah.
But for now, the formula is out there, and it works. I mean, if you've knit a lot of socks and you kind of get the idea of what you need to knit for yourself, and you can size that up or down for your kids, then it should work.
I'm eager to try it.
Yeah. And again, I keep thinking this is going faster than any other sock that I've knit. But again, it is smaller.
And you're not measuring it.
But I'm not measuring it. I'm not, it just is going, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, kind of why some people do afterthought.
Yeah, I suppose, just zoom, and then think about it later. Yep. So yeah, the yarn isn't the greatest, but like I said, Regia will definitely wear.
It's fun colors.
Yes. Picked out by the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then I see a mostly finished object over there, lurking.
So a Ginny sweater, Ginny cardigan.
Yep.
Is mostly done. But until it is blocked with its beautiful buttons, I think that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a good FO. I'm very happy. I just think that it's not going to be done justice until it gets blocked and has its beautiful buttons. But ends woven in, blocking and buttons, and this thing will be ready to show. Let's see. I did not work on my Sweetness cowl, or KAL, the Sweetness pullover.
Did you finish up the color work? Or are you still in the middle of that?
I'm in the middle of it.
I thought perhaps you got through the fun part and then you were like, oh, I'm going to put this away for a while.
No, it was, kind of. I got through 3, and I got 2 more to go. Okay. Maybe I'm just savoring, right? I don't want it to be over.
Make it last and last.
Trying to make it last longer. Also, the Ginny's is a yoke top. This is a yoke top, so it's making me a little nervous.
Want to make sure one of them fits before.
Yeah, I think so.
Makes sense to me.
So we're gonna tuck that away. It needs a bigger bag. Maybe I can put it in my enabling item when I get there. But the other thing that I have been working on is that trilogy cardigan.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have a section. So it's knit in sections. So I have half of a section complete. But I need another piece that mirrors this, and then I need to join them. So before a section's done.
Yeah.
And it definitely needs some blocking. This is a hot mess. But again, I can see its potential. I stretch it every once in a while to blocking, and I go, ooh, look at it, it became beautiful. But yeah, right now it needs blocking.
And I told Amy off air last week that she's getting the true Alexis Winslow experience. Like,
that's true. The
Delancey and why can't I think of it now? With the wedges.
Stone turns.
Turnstone, yep. Those are what I consider to be her, signature pieces. The Sweetness is color work, and my the lace back. I mean, you can't always do the colored, biased, unique construction, but that is what I have come to think of Alexis with. So.
Yes, no, I agree that the Sweetness, it's a lovely pattern, and it is only 2 pages, and it is fairly well written. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but what I have read from what I need to do is very clear, and only 2 pages. So that's lovely. This one's a little bit longer and has a lot of schematics to go with it. So yeah, we'll see when I get through it how I fared, but it seems to be going all right.
Woot woot. I am currently working on the sleeves of my On the Grass. I finally have to knit sleeves, once they multiply from 2 to 4, you have to really tackle them. I am super duper happy with my ridge that I introduced on the edge, so I put an extra, I like the way it looks. I can see why perhaps she didn't put it in the pattern, because this is ribbed the same ribbing as this, so maybe it was supposed to look more like it just flowed down in there. But it made the picking up of the stitches super easy, and I like the delineation between the top shell and this versus picking up purl stitches and trying to make it look like purl is feeding into purl. I tried a new to me technique with the sleeve caps, which was not part of the pattern, but I would encourage anybody to go out to YouTube and check out. I did German short rows, which was, I think, like Wingspan uses. I can link to the YouTube video, but she mentioned that she had learned it in some German patterns, and Wingspan was one of them. It's super simple. You end up not having to pick up instead of wrap and turn, you turn and do like a slip, bring it to the back, wrap over, and then you just end up working those 2 stitches together where the wrap is already over the top. Have you done German short rows?
I have.
And do you ever substitute those in because you like them?
I get lazy because sometimes I'm like, oh, how does that work, and what do I have to do? I don't know. Just do what the pattern says.
Yeah. Yep. I get that. But I could see substituting it, and I wanted to try it on this, so I just kind of did. Because I had heard about it and they were interesting. But it's a valid, easy to remember, and the video had 35,000 views, so it must be a fairly popular video that I looked at. But yes, all kinds of crazy going on with this colorway. I think that the colorway and the pattern were meant for each other. Yeah, the lights have been flickering all night. I don't know what's going on.
So not just since recording?
No, since recording.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know if we're trying to blow a breaker or what. If there is an awkward break in the middle of all this, you guys will know.
Yeah.
But after I get said sleeves done with that, I also have some socks on the needles with my Mint Rain. They are uber crazy, and it will be a new pattern that I will publish. I don't know if I'm going to talk too much about it other than just to show you the uber crazy. It's using a self-striping and striping the self-striping with some fun stitches to make the yarn do fun things. It kind of reminds me a little, not of the fox paws, but how the fox paws makes it look like something through the stitches. This kind of reminds me of creepy crawlers or circuit boards or bristles. Or
I still want to swatch the fox paws just to
see how it works. I've seen that it's like a mind melt. People are it melted my brain. You just follow the pattern and it does all of the really cool stuff. So
it may not be intuitive. You're just I don't know what this is going to do. Magic.
Yeah. Okay. But it's fun because, with this, I had no idea what it was going to end up doing with said yarn, and
Right.
that person just sat there and experimented and went, what would it do if I did this? But really like the Mint Rain base. It seems like super soft, and obviously in love with the colors since they're kind of my colorway apparently. And yeah, not much to say about that other than I did have the realization that knitting a sock is fun and is kind of like knitting a sleeve.
That's all I have got to say about
That's all I've got to say about that. And then I showed you the needle adjacent for our cowl, and then I showed this last week, but I've got the chalet, or I don't know how you say it. I've got the pattern all printed up. CHALEUR by Julie Hoover. It's a big poncho style.
Dang it.
We're not
in my face and
Yep, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, this really marled kind of, it's not tweedy. I keep on calling it tweedy. It kind of tweedy. It's got nups of, it's the owl tweet. So
this is the one that they did in the Hoobie.
With the held double.
Yeah.
Not Shibui. It's not. This is written for Eco Cloud.
Yeah, I know. Like they did it in basically 2 yarns held double that ended up being like a sport weight. I mean, not the same gauge as this pattern, but they did that pattern. Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I even got to try it on because it was the right size, and I wanted to just run. Like I had it on and I just wanted to run away. It was so beautiful.
Could they catch me? I wonder.
And yeah, the yarn was more than I was willing to spend that day.
Mm-hmm.
It was really
well, because it's held double. That often doubles the cost of what it would.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, it wasn't like it was hundreds of dollars. It was between 1 and 2 and closer to 1.
Yeah.
But it was just not something I wanted to spend that
Why
day.
can't I remember? It was like
the
steel.
textiles one.
Habu
Textiles?
Yeah, it had it had steel in it, didn't it?
Not the ones that I was. Yes, they made a steel yarn and they made a paper yarn and they made other ones. But the one that I wanted to knit with, there was a merino and then something with silk in it. But a blend.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is needle adjacent. So thinking next week it will be what?
Just making me remember that lovely garment and how I wanted it.
Bad memories, bringing up bad memories. I've wanted to knit it. I believe Cat Says Knit was wearing it at one of the yarn overs.
Yes.
And has kind of a fun herringbone type stitch pattern on it. It'll be interesting to see how this knits up, and or if I have enough yarn. Guess I could always go up to Darn It Anyway or call Darn It Anyway and ask them if they had more that would match my dye lot. And then I've got enabling because it's fun to spend money at the end of the year.
Yeah.
All resolutions have now been broken over and over and over again. I got from Jimmy Bean's wool, which I joked must be related to Jimmy John's because it got here freaky fast, some Swan's Island. And this is their all-American collection. It is a 75% Rambouillet, 25% alpaca, and it's a woolen spun worsted weight. And I thought it was super reasonable at 20-something and 210 grams per skein.
No, 210 yards.
Yards, sorry. You're right, not grams. Yards.
Grams would be impressive.
That would be. I've seen it, and I just showed Amy a project before we got started recording where they substituted it in for shelter. Nothing against shelter, but I didn't enjoy working with it the first time, and so I'm often looking for yarns to substitute in for shelter. And this has a really nice soft hand. I really love Rambouillet. I don't see the furriness that you normally see on an alpaca, so that woolen spun must have worked it in there. This is the Kelp colorway, and I think I'm going to make a dock light out of it. I really like that pattern out of the recent Brooklyn tweed, not treed, as I said. But they've got this in stock at Jimmy Bean's, and I used a gift certificate that was very kindly given to me, and away we go. Other enabling that I was Instagram enabled on, the evils of social media. Somebody was talking about how they loved their sweet legs. And I'm not normally a legging person. My daughter wears a lot of leggings. And let me tell you, if I had her posterior area, I would wear a lot more leggings as well. Skinny little thing. But I fell in love with them because the person said that they were super soft, and then I went out and looked, and they have all of these like faux knitting Fair Isle patterns. And so this one is, I can't remember the names of them. This one was Valentine something, and they kind of have the faux stitches in there. And then this one is a more poinsettia and deer motif. And then my daughter got some really cool owls that she's already worn and is asking why they aren't washed immediately. Do your children do that? Like, I threw it down the chute. Why isn't it washed? And it's like, I don't do laundry on demand for you, child. But I don't know if I've mentioned sweetlegs.ca. So these were $25 Canadian, and depending on the exchange rate, I think it was like 20 something. And then my daughters were 20 Canadian dollars, and then whatever that is, like 18-ish US dollars. And then if you spend 75, you get free shipping. And they got here pretty quick. Like, I got them in a week or so. So my Canadian shipping karma must be improving. And they also have plus sizes. This fit is supposed to fit like 1 to, I don't even remember what the sizing is. It was a very large range of sizes, so I wasn't scared that they weren't going to fit. But they also have plus size ones, and they've got like constantly are adding new colors and whatever. I'm a pseudo want to knit a dress to wear over the top of it, like a solid color. So like the leggings would be kind of like the crazy, and then the sweater would be like, and I actually knit this, even though this looks like fake knitting. I don't know that I would do Fair Isle on Fair Isle leggings. Like maybe a cabled chunky, like I was telling Amy, a Dallas by Amy Miller. She has a new like cowled short sleeve cabled dress that looks awesome.
I think I've seen that. Okay. Now that you describe it.
I might actually wear leggings to work. I know you said that some of the pictures out on the internet of Sweet Legs had people like working out in them. And they're soft enough and hardy and like durable enough. You could probably, they're like a microfiber. You could probably work out in them.
Yeah. I don't know how hard they were sweating. It was a picture after all, but
yeah. No, I'm of the ilk that I would dress these up, but I could see like, yeah. So that has been my purchases in the last week.
Okay.
Or the ones that have arrived.
You think those are going to be okay at work?
If I knit a dress to wear over the top.
Oh, okay.
And then I would be like, don't talk to me. I knit this dress. I don't know. You don't think I could wear them to work? Nope. Challenge accepted.
I have not seen that particular look at your place of business.
Huh.
Downtown anyway.
I swear I've seen somebody wearing a dress with leggings at work.
Well, yeah, leggings, but not like multicolor.
Like, so you think the multicolor makes them less business attire?
Yeah. Like I've seen gray leggings. I've seen black leggings, with dresses.
The ones with the poinsettia and deer, those are gray and black. Come on. Come on now. All right, talk about your enabling.
Your sparkling personality might pull them off.
I don't know. I've never worn leggings before, but I've heard they're fantastic. So I'm going to turn over a new leaf, a legging leaf.
Okay.
Sweetlegs.ca. Check them out.
So after meeting Annie, I decided that the next bag that I saw from her collection that I was like, ooh, I would just go ahead and pull the trigger on. So I have.
Do you have any of the bags from the kids, or did I
No,
get them
you
all?
got them all.
Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Yeah. I got yarn, so I shouldn't be sad, but
Yeah.
but she got all the bags. So I said, okay, next time she has an update and I see something I love,
Totally justified.
totally justified. This one was Highland Snowflakes.
Oh, so
Isn't
pretty.
it beautiful?
I love the geometry of it.
Yes, and I love the colors that were picked for the snowflakes.
Is that an Anne of Green Gables? Or
No, this was just a winter update.
Oh, cool.
I think, unless it's like Outlander meets winter thing, or I don't know. Saw on Instagram, waited for update, picked buy. Did not research it at all.
Yep.
No, it's really cute,
Mhm.
and I know from you using yours, it's very sturdy.
Yes,
and
very well made.
I'm excited.
Yes.
So, like I said, this bag is becoming too small, so I need to.
She's gonna swap it right on here.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have anything further to speak about this week.
All right. Cool beans.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye, Hoopta.